Kakadosh Boker Tov. In Shulchan Aruch Sif Daled, in Siman Daled Sif Bet, he comes and he says as follows: Yedaktek la'arot alehem mayim shalosh pa'amim la'avir ruach ra'ah sheshoreh alehen. When we're talking about Netilat Yadayim in the morning, he says over here that you have to actually do Netilat Yadayim in the morning 3 times in order to be ma'avir the ruach ra'ah sheshoreh alehen. What does that mean? In order to take off the ruach ra'ah. What does this mean exactly? Right, this ruach ra'ah which is on the hands, and now you come and you pour water in the morning, Netilat Yadayim Shachrit, and all of a sudden it goes away. So in order to understand this, the Kaf HaChaim, he comes and he explains as follows: that when a person goes to sleep, the Neshama Kedoshah, it goes away from us, and then the person has a Ruach HaTumah. When the Neshama comes back to the body, the Ruach HaTumah goes away from the body, and it only stays in the hands. And therefore, what we have to do is we have to get rid of this Tum'ah, which is in the hands. Now, the reason why, so then, okay, fine, a person might have Ruach Ra'ah on the hands, but why all of a sudden now water is going to come and take this away? So it's Al-Pi, the Kaf HaChaim explains, Al-Pi the Arizal HaKadosh, he says the spiritual aspect of water is Chesed. And the Ruach Ra'ah, which is basically the negative strengths or negative energies, is Givurah. So when a person comes and he does Netilat Yadayim properly, the Chesed comes and annuls the Givurah. So if somebody is going to come and they're going to do Netilat Yadayim, and then afterwards he's going to touch somebody else that did not do Netilat Yadayim, the Ben Ish Chai in the Kaf HaChaim says he has to do Netilat Yadayim again, because the Koach and the Ruach Ra'ah is so strong that it could go back on the person even though he already did the Netilat Yadayim. Meaning this person already did Netilat Yadayim. He wakes up, he does Netilat Yadayim, he goes, he's walking around, all of a sudden his little boy, or it doesn't matter who it is, come and they touch his hands. Now all of a sudden it's so strong, this Ruach Tumah, that it could again come to be Mitameh, the Yadayim. V'chenktav, also that's the Psak of Rav Ovadia Yosef. However, though, the Or Letzion wanted to make a differentiation, and he says that only if his hands were wet, then he has to do Netilat Yadayim again. But if they're dry, he does not have to do Netilat Yadayim again. Now, okay, so a person wakes up, they have to do Netilat Yadayim. They have to do it, Maran says, 3 times. Now, first of all, when you're doing the Netilat Yadayim, you have to do a Lechatechila at Perek HaZroa. What does it mean a Perek HaZroa? Until when you're going to have the bones, the joint bones, which is going to be at the end of the hand. So therefore, it's going to be the entire palm, the entire back part of the hand, the entire hand. He says if a person does not have water, so then it's going to be enough until Kishetz Beotav. What does that mean? He says, right, and even if a person will do it in such a way, he would still make the beracha. So therefore, a person would still make a beracha, even though it's going to be kishetz beotav. Kishetz beotav are until the knuckles. So now, after that, it comes and it says, we have to do it 3 times. Here, even if you're going to do it once with a lot, it does not help, because the ruach ra'ah only goes away after 3 times. Meaning like this: we know that in chot netilat yadayim seudah, if a person is going to take a revi'it b'vat achat, which means he's going to take a revi'it in one time, and he's going to put it on his hands, it's already enough. Meaning the quantity, right, is already going to be enough. Here, the quantity doesn't help. He could take an entire bucket full and pour on one hand, and then another entire bucket full on the other hand. He still did not do anything. You need specifically 3 times. The reason why the Ben Ish Chai explains is that since the klipot, Ikara klipot, is going to be 3. He explains here it's going to be Ruach Se'ara, Anan Gadol, and Esh Mitlakachat. So there's 3 types of Ikara klipot. The Ruach Ra'ah does not go unless there's going to be 3 separate pourings. And also he explains that since there's going to be Gimel Prakim Be'espaot, there's going to be 3 different joints in the fingers. So therefore you have to do it 3 different times, because the Ruach Ra'ah comes and first goes from the Perek HaSmuch Lekaf Yad, and then afterwards from Perek HaEmtzai, and then afterwards from Perek HaAcharon, which means like this. What exactly is the Ben Ish Chai explaining? He says you have 3 joints in the fingers, right? 3 joints. The first time you do the Netilat Yadayim, you're moving it from the Kaf HaYad to the first joint. The second time you do Netilat Yadayim, you're moving the Ruach Ra'ah from the first joint to the second joint. The third time, you're actually completely getting it out of the hands. So therefore, that's why you need, since there's 3 joints, right? When you bend your fingers, there are 3 joints. You need to do 3 times the Netilat Yadayim, and that's how you're going to get rid of it. Now, the Gaon Mivilna says that really, be'emet, you need to do, the Sefer Maaser Rav says, you need 4 times. 3 times to get rid of the Ruach Ra'ah, and the 4th time, to get rid of the Mayim Shenitmeu. Which means that after that you have to get rid of the water which is already tameh. The Kav HaChaim says that's the way we should be noheg, to do 4 times, just like the Gaon Mivilna. However, though the Ben Ish Chai brings down that Api Divrei Arizal HaKadosh, after doing 3 times Netilat Yadayim Sirugin, Ne'ekeret Ruach Ra'ah legamre, and therefore you don't have to do a 4th time. However, though, it's very important to note that there's another reason why you should do 4 times as well. The reason why there's another reason you should do 4 times as well is that when do you make the bracha of Netilat Yadayim? So therefore here he says, some people say that the only after drying your hands does the tumah completely come off, and therefore you would only make the bracha over there. Other people say, no, you should do the bracha before the drying of the hands. So therefore he comes and he says, the Data Poskim, which is also the Ben Ish Chai of Vadi Yosef, after doing the Netilat Yadayim 3 times, since it's Nekere Legamre, you should make the bracha before the Niguv. Meaning you make the bracha al Netilat Yadayim before drying your hands. However, though the Kaf HaChaim brings down that even though the Ikar Adin is like that, nevertheless, since there is shitot that the hands are still tameh until after you dry your hands. Now, if you want to dry your hands and then you're going to make bracha, it's afterwards. It's not going to be before. It's not before, right? So therefore, what are you going to do? You're going to wash the 4th time in order that now you can make the bracha according to everybody before drying your hands. Because if according to the Gaon Mivilna, you still have tumah in your hands, meaning that water which is still in your hands is still tameh, why are you going to make the bracha? So first you dry it and now make the bracha. But you shouldn't dry your hands and make bracha. You should always make the bracha before drying your hands. So therefore, it says the Kaf HaChaim, when you're going to do the 4th Netilat Yadayim, and now you got rid of this tum'ah which is on your hands, now you can make the bracha according to everybody before drying your hands, and therefore that's another reason why you should actually wash your hands 4 times. So again, one more time, Mi'ikar Adin technically, right, just like they were posek, whether it's the Ben Ish Chai and the Rav Vadi Yosef in the Shitav the Arizal HaKadosh, and it's also Shitav Maran. 3 times is already enough, and you have to do a Sirugin. Sirugin means 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. You have to do the right, left, right, left, right, left. However, though, according to the Gaon Mivilna, you're going to do a 4th time in order to take off the Mayim Tam'eh, which is going to be on your hands. And by doing so, that's how the Kaf HaChaim is also going to be posek, like the Gaon Mivilna. And besides that, by doing that, you're going to do a Lechuli Alma, that now you can make the Beracha Val Netilat Yadayim before the drying of the hands.